next one's kind of from when they were during the hearing. If there was no evidence to show that gay and lesbian service members refused orders or didn't perform their duties or resisted becoming part of a team, why exclude them? We intended to show that what remained in the military's own arguments to fuel the regulation's existence was quite simply fear that heterosexuals would feel uncomfortable around gays and lesbians, might ostracize them or harass them, or might resign from the military. In other words, the problem is not due to gays and lesbians, but to the expected prejudice of straight service members. Interestingly, these reasons for banning gay people were exactly the same rationales put forth to justify excluding African Americans from serving with whites. Both of these policies of exclusion were designed solely to cater to the fears or bigotries of others. However, we would argue that accommodating private prejudice does not serve a legitimate governmental or military purpose. Thankfully now we had Obama overturn the don't ask, don't tell policy, and a lot of service members who, regardless of whether they were out or not, can still serve, can still be themselves, can still live the way they always lived, and not be a problem. Anyway, I think I had a few more quotes. If I can't figure them out, I'll just jump to the end because there's a brilliant speech that she gave at a Pride rally. At the time, I believed very strongly that I had something to contribute to the military, and for the past 26 months have continued to serve with every bit of effort and energy I had beforehand. And when the time came now to decide whether or not to resign or retire, I felt that this was one of the decisions I had to make in my life. A crossroads. Do I back down, or do I stand up for what I truly believe is my right as a human being, which is to be acknowledged as a human being? My professional career, my abilities, my contributions have nothing to do with my sexual orientation. Throughout my career and the world, there are times when change can be made only by someone stepping forth, being willing to perhaps expose themselves and their vulnerability, so that others become aware of the fact that there are differences in the world, so that people will understand these differences are okay and don't affect our ability to be part of an organization or to make a contribution. And so I choose to be here, to sit before you and my family and be vulnerable in the hopes that perhaps it can influence and make a change and allow us to serve as we have in the past and will continue to do in the future. I appreciate your presence, your attendance, your attentiveness, and I thank you very much. That was her last testimony in the hearing, the military hearing. It was up in the... I can't remember, I'm hopeless with titles and names, but it was the last statement she made in her hearing before the board decided to adjourn and consider their verdict. And then they delivered it. They dismissed her honourably. And herself and her lawyers made a point to put as much evidence as they possibly could into the military hearing, because they were fully aware that it wouldn't pass. You know, that the board, regardless of their own personal feelings, had to follow AR 135, 175. It was the rules. They couldn't do it. It's hard to say, really. I just wanted to finish with this last statement that she made at a Pride rally. I think it was between her civil hearing and her military hearing. But anyway, we are your daughters, your sisters, your sons, your nurses, your mechanics, your athletes, your police, your politicians, your fathers, your doctors, your soldiers, your mothers. We live with you and care for you and help you, protect you, teach you, love you, and need you. All we ask is that you let us. We are no different. We want to serve like you, need love like you, feel pain like you, and we deserve justice like you. There were a lot of times I laughed during reading this book, and a lot of times I was nearly crying. That last speech is moving. This book was also made into a film starring Glenn Close as Margarethe, and it's a very good film. It compacts the last half of the book, and they changed a few names, I'm guessing for understandable reasons, but yeah. I'll put a link to the one video of it that I found. All the others seem to be blocked or are shut down because of this soap actual legislation. So yeah, it's on Nova Movie. The quality isn't great, but you know, it's a way of watching it. I'll try and find a DVD version of it and buy it, because it's just, I highly recommend reading it. If anyone is interested in Don't Ask, Don't Tell, Vietnam, the experiences before and after and during, American military, the way it works. There's a lot of different reasons to read the book, but if you want just a genuine, heartfelt story, then that's one at the top of the list for me anyway. Gurv míle mágad, agus slán go fóill.